Hey YouTube, welcome back, and I can say that with some confidence. We're up to like 365 subscribers or something, so thank you for that. Make sure that you have entered to win the custom cutting board and or dorm or tailgate signs. I think we've only got like 3 or 4 entries right now, so that's been a little underwhelming. But if you enjoy the channel, giving away something for free, I really appreciate the 365 folks that have showed up. Anyway, kind of a check-in on the Copart 2011. It doesn't look like we've been taking parts out of the boot, but we really have. In fact, the back seat has been folded up, and these are boxes. Really, the 2 biggest boxes are the old headlights because the new headlights are installed. Show you that. Just today, I replaced the hard brake lines in the back. And that is a giant faff, man. You don't go back with originals. In order to get the passenger side rear brake line on, you got to drop the rear subframe and take out the driver's side rear shock absorber. So it's not easy. I went back with the bendable conifer lines, the copper nickel lines. In fact, you can see some of it here. I bought 2 packs, got the whole thing done with 1 pack, so I'm going to be sending 1 back, which is exciting. I'm going to show you some of that. I'll show you a little bit of putting the engine back together. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's take a look. Sure how well this is going to film, but you can see that the inboard pipe, which obviously goes back to the driver's side, left side, is a little bit grody up here, and kind of at every clip it looks like that, and it's actually the worst. I think back here is where it was leaking, and the other one's bubbling a little bit, but what we're going to do is we're going to try to take this access plate off, see what we can get to. But the idea is we're going to tap into that.
3 days later.
So what a giant faff this is. Hopefully you can hear me over the fan and everything. It's 4th of July and it's going to be hot. Right now it's not too bad and we're in the shade, so trying to get this done early. Like a lot of these things, the hard brake lines that are right up under, this is the rear door on the left side, driver's side for us in the US. The lines were rotted kind of right underneath here, and I'll show you in a little bit what you have to do to get to them, but had the liner out anyway. They attach up here in the front and run in a channel all the way to the back, and then the right side, far side, goes over the top of the subframe. And if you're going to use the factory hard lines, you have to take out the subframe, you have to drop the subframe, and you also have to drop the shock absorber, or the damper, I think they call it in England. We're not going to do that. I got some flexible lines. Now, this isn't like woven mesh lines or anything. It's, it's conifer, copper nickel lines. And the thought is I'm going to run the long side towards the front, get it connected, and then do my bends, and then kind of take it and fish it into up over the subframe where it goes. All right, so this is the rear wheel well. I had cut this previously, pulled it out the back of this tunnel. I'm gonna cut it halfway up this run so that I've still got something over the top that I can follow. All right, so we've got that off. We're going to leave that just dangling for right now. So bought a couple of rolls of this nickel copper 3/16 line off Amazon. I'll put a link in the bottom, of course. And unbeknownst to this yank, there's a special flare. It's called a DIN or an ISO flare that that they use over in Europe. The only other brake lines I had ever done were on a 1964 Jeep. So very, very different. But this is the original fitting that I pulled off. And so I'm going to fish that back up towards the front. It attaches to the front with this. And then we'll work our way back. All right, we're going to fish this up through here and kind of straighten as we go. So here we are back up under the front wheel well. This has two different types of unions, and I think that I wrote a B for bottom on this one. I don't know if they're different or not. They seem to have the same thread either way. So we got, so I just tightened this up, gave it a little bit of an upward bend, and it's hand tight right now. And so we'll go back and clip this nickel line in to all the clips. I did mark the fact that the upper one here is the far side, or the right side passenger side in the U.S. And then the lower one is driver's side, near side, left side, however you think of it. Here's where the wheel arch attaches, the back side of the wheel arch attaches. And so this is coming through the, it's not the firewall, but where it's coming from the front. And all these clipped into the inside area of these clips. So I'm just going to clip this one in. That seems to be fine. This also seems to hold some airlines. Starts there. That's the front of the truck. Coming backwards, there's a cross member here, and then it comes out the back. And then just trying to follow the bends of the near side, and so we're through that. And now's when it's going to get challenging, because I'm going to have to fish it up over the subframe. It's the rear wheel arch. Pulled the whole coil up over the rear axle. Eventually it's going back up in that hole. You can kind of see here's the existing hard pipe. So we're going to follow that. We need to go to the other side and get the flexi line undone. And I thought I had a pretty comprehensive tool set, but my fitting wrenches go from 10 to 12, and this is an 11. Hoping that we don't round it. All right, that did pretty well. The underside of this truck looks like it's got a lot of Yankee on it, but there are parts that turn like a Southern. It appears that this is going to come off without rounding, which is huge because I'm going to reuse that fitting. So we've got it loose, which is good because, like I say, I'm going to reuse this fitting, and it seemed to come out fine. It didn't round, which is nice. And I'm going to pull it out of the clips and pull it out this side, I think. Kind of making this up as I go along. And, you know, naturally I don't care about the steel line so much, so I don't mind if it gets kinked or anything, because it's useless to me. So I might fish it up and try and pull it out through here. All right, so that's a result. This that's just sitting in there, and so just pulled this out, let it down, and then pulled it out through here. So now we'll fish the nickel line up through there and bring it down and bend it. After generally getting it fished into the right spot, I'm probably going to cut this a little bit closer, somewhere in here. First, I'm going to try to zip tie it off to some things, just to keep it from rubbing as it jangles around. But kind of awkward to show you down here, so I'm going to show you the din flare tool and the din flare process on a little piece of scrap. So I had bought a crappy cheap set, and the little clamp thing wouldn't hold the pipe, and so I never actually flared anything with it. This was about $70. I'll put a link in the bottom, but Capri flaring tool, and it's specifically designed for the 475 din, okay, which is the European spec. I've got the handle screwed into the SAE, and so the din is open. That's where you'll put the die, okay, and the pipe goes in this end. When you're first doing it, when you're putting the pipe in, you don't really have to loosen these 10 mils all that much. You need a 10 mil and a 17 mil, and so this is the gauge that tells you how deep to put the pipe. Okay, so hopefully you can kind of see in there. The pipe comes up and butts up against it. My pipe is nice and square. Tighten these down. So you can see that there are 3 bolts, one on one side, 2 on the other. And if you do the single side bolt first, it's kind of a lever action. And he said it seems to help. There's two different dies. The SAE, or the flare and double flare, which is for American cars, and then this one says DIN, which is also known as the ISO, and they give you a little bit of lube. Never a bad thing. So all lubed up. Putting this in the far side. I don't know if you can see it coming in there or not. Okay, just hand tighten it up, and then I got my 17 mil put on here. Just start cranking. Okay, that's as far as it'll go. It has bottomed out up here, and so we should be good in there. So undo it. Now it should come right out. Now when you're pulling it out, because the end is flared, you're going to have to open these up more than you did initially. So now it's it comes out. It's pretty wide. It's still got to go a little more. There we go. So we got our DIN flare, and of course, the thing to remember, this is a cut-off piece, so it's easy enough to do it. But the thing to remember is to put your fitting on first before you go doing your flare. So I'm going to clean this up, cut the passenger side, right side, far side, however you think about it. I'm going to cut it down and get this on, get the fitting on, and flare it. All right, since we're firing with live ammo now. After I cut the pipe off, I reamed out the center with the tool. Quintuple checked that, yes, I do have the fitting on here. Should have left that straighter. So we got a DIN flare, and we remembered to put our fitting on. There you go. I'm going to put a little anti-seize on there, and then we'll work it around, and I'll show you the finished product. It's probably isn't going to film well, but it goes up through there, and then over the top of the subframe. I think we're done with this one. Everything is snapped in, and it is hard enough that it's not going to leak or droop against anything, and and wear, so I feel pretty good about it. So on the good Lord looking out for fools and sinners front, at one point I thought I was going to be too short, but 25 feet will actually do both sides. This continues on. I mean, it's from the front wheel, it's past the rear wheel. So I've got a chunk left over that's longer than the wheelbase, and I'm going to run this side now. If this goes a certain way and I'm doing it wrong, please let me know in the comments. I do know that that is the top one. I marked the other one as the bottom. So these, the outside, I got a little bit of copper grease on there. For the next guy, you're welcome, next guy. It's 15 mil on the coupling. Enough. These are still 11 mil. They just look different. That should be in there. I'm not going to win any awards, any concourse awards for these brake lines, but fortunately I'm probably not going to enter any concourse competitions, so we've got those done. Like I say, there's some waves to it, but they never touch, and they're not going to vibrate against each other. They are rigid enough that it's not an issue. I did rounded corners instead of 90-degree corners, just because that was easier to bend by hand. I think we got it set up. Now we just got to bleed them. While we're under here, and I got a tiny bit of battery, that's the back end of the transfer case, and you can see I've got on the other side, I've got the exhaust hanging down, and I did that in order to remove the heat shield that goes there. In order to get to that heat shield, had to drop the exhaust, and then got that heat shield out, and there's a shield over here. It looks like it's all one piece going over the prop shaft, but it's not. There are two separate, I'll call them skid, probably fuel tank guards. They look like they're one, but they're not. They're two. And so we had to get all that. Now we're going to have to get all this put back in, and I don't think I'm going to do that on camera. All right, YouTube. I think that's probably about it for this one. We got the hard brake lines in, got the front put back together, got the side put back together. We're probably about a week away from this thing actually driving. Then we're going to have to make an appointment with the state, take it through the inspector, and see if we can get our rebuilt title, which would be big. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you've made it this far, you probably already know I'm doing a giveaway of a cutting board and a couple of, I call them tailgate carvings. So they can be Range Rover, Land Rover, they can be your university, whatever you want. We'll come together on something when you win. So if you'll put down in the comments, Cunifer, CU for copper, NI for nickel, FER for ferrous, Cunifer, which are the brake lines that I put in. If you'll put hashtag Cunifer in the comments, it'll get you 2 entries. Pete, you're already entered about as many times as you can be entered. Anyway, I think that's about it for this one. My time's up. I thank you for yours. We'll see you on the next one, YouTube. Get connected, and then do my bends, and then kind of take it and fish it into up over the original fittings and fish them up through the truck.